So this talks by the Pharaoh again. Welcome back. Now I forgot to add some shit to the last one. Sorry, I was getting a little angry at this Facebook shit and just seeing the shit that's being brought out towards others and shit. Like, so I'm gonna touch on some things real quick. Cause I got caught. Try and keep this one short while the other one's uploading. But so people with like BPD, when it comes to BPD and shit like that, with the intrusive thoughts, overthinking, and there's also like self-destructive tendencies that come with it. There's also like when our intrusive thoughts sometimes are so loud that sometimes it's louder than the people that are trying to love us and care for us and talk to us, and we end up destroying relationships and friendships and all that because of that. And that's a hard thing to work on. That is that is hard to look at and be like, what the fuck? Like, that is something very hard to overcome, which I've been working on too. And so that being said, like with the intrusive thoughts and everything and the paranoia, just everything that comes with it, do some research on just research it up a bit if you have any questions. Like, I can only talk from personal experience. I'm no professional or anything. So, but that being said, like on Facebook, I've noticed, like, I scroll through Facebook, there's a bunch of funny stuff and I like sharing stuff, and then there's like other stuff I like to see and watch and all that. But lately there's been like non-stop fucking videos of just negative shit for views. People just want to be like for views, because there's a lot of them that are like toxic as fuck people, like spreading that negative shit just to get views. There's quite a few. For instance, there was one I recently saw, was like, oh, she's not texting you back, but she's texting back other guys and shit, or something along the lines of that. Almost all of the ones I've seen have to relate in the long lines of that. And there's no positive message in the video. Like, you'd hope that they'd come back to it and be like, don't let your intrusive thoughts win. And that's not how it is. Nah, they just straight up say that and share that with no explanation. It's like, it goes both ways with both men and women, and whichever a person decides to identify as, just a person in the relationship. Either person can feel like this, but it doesn't mean that's what's going on, and don't take what you see on Facebook or anything to heart, even if it's being blasted at you like a million fucking times a day, because that shit's being pushed hard right now. Like, I mean really hard. Like, out of all, like, I hardly see many positive videos on Facebook anymore. I hardly see any joyousness. Like, I hardly see anything funny, and like, I know there's an algorithm to it with all the videos I watch, like, that shit's related to it. I try to connect with videos that are uplifting, that bring more confidence, that are more positive in nature. Even if there's a bit of sadness to it, a bit of darkness to it, there's usually always a positive message involved, either in the middle or at the end. And that's what I try to stick with, because I know my thinking process, and like, I get a lot of fucking intrusive thoughts like that, and I cannot let myself think that way, because that's not what it is. Like, I can't let myself sabotage my brain and my heart like that, because I completely trust the person. I completely trust. And I've been fighting these intrusive thoughts. Like, again, it's stupid. I apologize for me and everybody else that feel this way sometimes when we get stuck in our heads about it. Like, there was like an interview, right? This guy interviewing these women, or they're doing Vice Versa as a podcast. There's a lot of these on Facebook too, and all this shit, just everywhere now. And this chick was like, oh yeah, my last man was toxic as fuck, basically. And one of the dudes was like, What made him toxic as fuck? And the chick was like, well, he's a religious man. He's trying to bring his religion into the relationship a little too much. I'm like, at first I was like, okay, I could see where that kind of might be like, you know, but I gave it all a listen before I judged the story completely, because, you know, like, not everybody's meant to be religious. Not everybody, like, you gotta respect each other's boundaries with that. Like, boundaries are good. Like, unlike what the Facebook and all other people say, boundaries are good. We're having respect in a relationship for each other's boundaries and what makes, and respecting that if there's something you're doing that the other person doesn't like, or like, you could try and respect that, or like just sit down and talk about it, because that's also very important too. That's also something I've been learning a lot about. I just hate seeing it being pushed out everywhere, and there's so many people that are far off worse than me, and I was sick and tired of seeing all the shit that's making it worse for other people, because like when we see and hear shit like that, when we're alone, we get stuck on that becomes our thoughts, and we just think like that. Like, that's a prime example. But anyways, I'll continue with what I was saying. And so she was saying, like, he was apparently bringing religion into everything, because he's a religious man, and he apparently he was, the person she was with was like, you can't dress, you can't wear certain things that are like too revealing. They didn't really say that in the video, but I'm gonna describe it a little more in depth. Like, you shouldn't wear too much. You shouldn't be wearing shit that's too revealing out in public. Like, there's like boundaries to be set when in a relationship. That's basically what they were trying to get to. And then the dude also said, like, because she also said, it's like, he didn't want me going out to the clubs or bars alone anymore and stuff, and I just wasn't having that, and that was toxic as fuck. And then everybody else was like, what the fuck? It's like, he wasn't trying to control who you are and what you do. He just doesn't want you out there advertising yourself to other people that want attention, because with that, it appears as if you're wanting other people's attention. And, well, in that circumstance anyways, like, I just wanted to bring that up as an example of what Facebook and all this other shit's pushing, because, like, this shit's affecting us on a daily basis. Like, whether we want to admit it or not, sometimes it just gets stuck in our mind with that shit. And as I said, I apologize for me and everybody else that's like this. We're overbearing and overwhelmed with our thoughts, and it's like, that's where the trust comes in. That's where the confidence of our love and everything comes into play, because we will set our boundaries and we will respect our boundaries, and we will always try to adhere to them. And if we fuck up, we'll talk about it. But it's like, we got to talk about these things more. Like, we got to talk to each other. Like, everybody's got to talk to their loved ones, or talk to other people about what bothers them, or certain things like that and shit, because it's like, sometimes it is the small things that destroy shit, as I said in the last video. And this is something I wanted to touch upon, but I was so busy going off on my rant and raves on other shit. And there's just so much fucking negative going on. I want positive. I'm trying to keep my head positive. I'm catching myself at almost every fucking time. I have been slipping up. I have, not gonna lie. But like, at the same time, with everybody else, like, I'm just gonna say it flat and honest. Like, if you're just gonna allow yourself to sit in the dark and muck it all up, then yeah, people are gonna get kind of sick of trying to help if you're not willing to help yourself or trying to help. Well, there should be no willing. It should be wanting, because willing is a weird word. I figured that out one day. Talk about some shit, and I brought up, I'm willing to do this, and then I thought about it. It's like, willing doesn't sound like you're wanting to. That's the thing with the word willing. That's, again, me picking shit apart. But I'm very observant, and with all that shit, it's like I'm wanting to do this, because then in your, if you actually want to do something, you will do it. That's what it is. Like, so get in your mind that it should be wanting, not willing. Because if you don't want it, don't do it. Like, if you don't want something, don't get it. Just like that, you know. But like, all this negative shit on Facebook's really gone fucking crazy. Like, yeah, I've saved like a lot of reels to my. I've saved a lot of reels and all this shit, because some of the messages I see, it's like, all right, it may be a little negative, but I'm catching myself in the moment, and I'm gonna come back to this later and be like, huh. It's like, this is how I was thinking at the time, or this is what my mind really was stuck on at that point, because I know I'm making progress. And I'll end up forgetting about everything I save on Facebook and shit like that. Like, I'll forget about everything, and then later down the road when I come look at it, it's gonna be like, huh, I was really stuck back then, huh? Or I was in the beginning process of making progress and stuff like that. We gotta give ourselves positive shit to do. Getting a call. Now to keep going for that, I got a phone call. It was good. It was very good. I loved it. No, I really did. So to keep going from that, it's like, we got to realize, like, all right, you just gotta see that all the shit that's being pushed out, a lot of it's just gonna be negative, trying to keep us down, because that's all that's being pushed out right now, and that's how I'm seeing it. Because like I know others are sick of it when I get that way, like when I get in ways where like I'm stuck over small shit, and like as I said in the previous video, like when it comes to me feeling things, I like, even if I'm feeling nothing, I feel that completely. So say I have like a nightmare, say I have a nightmare, and if it's really fucked up, like I get stuck in it, and then when I wake up, that shit affects me for a little bit, but I'm doing good at working on not letting it affect me so much. And we're always afraid and worried about being a bother or overbearing and just feeling too much, because like we don't intentionally like want to scare anyone away. We don't intentionally want to like be overbearing as we are, and that's when it comes down to making things manageable and trying to get upper hand on your emotions and how you deal with things, because it gets easier once you start once you start working on it. Shit just gets a little bit easier, and you'll notice, like, I know I still have a very long road ahead of me, but I've noticed it's starting to get easier as I keep going. And that is good. It's a weird feeling, but it's good. And I'm very grateful and very thankful for the person that's been there for me and the people that have been there for me. Like, yeah. I'm weird, I'm different. Like, I've always been a weird kid. I'll touch up a little bit on that. I never really had friends as a kid growing up. I was always alone with my thoughts, making like imaginary friends and shit. And pretty much raised myself on top of all that. And like, I've never fit in. I can honestly say I've never fit into anything, and it's hard trying to. It's hard, and at most points I don't even try to fit in anymore, because it's like, I've been bullied, I've been treated like shit most of my life, whether that's from other people or myself. Like, I've been treated like shit most of my life, so it's like, and no, like, I thank my mom for being there. She fucking busted her shit to take care of us. I ain't blaming my mom for shit. Much love on my mom right there. And to the people that stay, that listen, that like, y'all aren't alone either. I'm not saying I've had it worse than any of you. I'm not saying I'm having it worse than any of you. I'm not better than you, even though I'm making progress. I am not. I'm at a different stage with myself than you are. So think of it from that perspective. I'm not better. All right. Like one thing I am confident about myself though is like, as I've been boosting myself and my confidence about myself, I've been really, what's the word for it? I'm really pushing for myself to believe and to and I do believe this. I am very confident that I'm not like other guys. I'm not. My ways and how I love is extremely different, and I can say that I'm completely confident my love, you will never find a love like mine. You will never find someone as passionate as me. You might find close or replicas, but you ain't gonna find another me, because I'm the only me. I'm the only one that can love the way I love and treat you the way I treat you. Like, and I'm dead serious about what I want. I'm dead serious about my feelings and my emotions and all of this, because it's like, this has helped me open up. This might help others. Like, my topics might get a little dicey, because when I talk about things like this, I just get way into it. I don't know how to fully describe it, but like, it takes me back in the past, or it takes me all over the place in my head, and then it's like I'm really pouring myself into this. Like, I'm putting my emotions, my vibes, my love, my caring, my passion, just who I am, I'm putting myself into this, because this is very important for me. And everything I say, I say with reason and with the intent to help and the intent for others to listen, to get to know me better and to know themselves, and just to know that, like, I am working on things, and I'm straight up serious. Like, I'm pouring myself into you. I am giving my all until I can't give anymore. I'll still give some even if I can't. Like, that's me. I'm happy with that. I am. I really am. But I'm gonna end it here. Post this one. I hope y'all have a good day. I just had to bring up the subjects we're talking about. And please remember, like, with all this negative shit going on, just keep in your mind, try and work on it, because this is what I'm working on too. This shit affects me too. Even, like, I'll push the thoughts out, I'll push it, but sometimes it creeps back. Remember, most of the negative shit that's almost all, if not all, of the shit that's negative being posted is to keep you down. It is to make things worse. Do not focus on that. What you need to focus on is, like, where you're at right now and how you're doing, and you need to take care of yourself. Like, that's hard, but try something, anything. Like, small progress is progress, as I keep saying, and I will keep repeating myself, and like, I'll keep repeating myself, because as I would like reassurance on a lot of things, I'll reassure y'all on a lot of things, because reassurance is needed up until where, like, there will be a point where you don't need as much reassurance anymore, and that's when you've gotten things more manageable and you can handle things a lot better than you used to. But reassurance should always still be there, whether it's a little bit of reassurance here and there or a lot. Just know that, like, reassurance really does help. That's a big thing too. But I love y'all. I hope y'all have a good day. Thank you for listening and dealing with my shit. Now, if y'all change your mind about me, like, I understand completely. Like, I'm different. I really am different. I ain't gonna be part of the flow. Like, I ain't gonna be part of it. What everybody else is doing, I'm me for me. I'm me for a reason. Like, and I'm accepting that I'm never gonna fit in. I will never fit in. I will never be I will never, and that's all right. Like I'm happy with with the few that accept me for who I am, and I'm gonna continue this progress. But as I said, have a good day, much love. Just keep that in mind, and hope y'all learned something.